Everything I've tried to do, everything I've tried to be is done because I made a mistake. I didn't really even lose my cool. I just tried to move you away. I just did. Sorry.
This is Trisha Todd and Stephen Williams with their 3-year-old daughter, Faith. The couple worked together in the United States Air Force during their 11-year marriage. Their marriage would end in divorce, but because the couple had known each other since they were children, they remained friendly, and Stephen was allowed to see his daughter whenever he wanted. After the divorce, Trisha would take their daughter and move to Florida, where she found a job at a hospital while she studied to become a nurse. Stephen would remain in the Air Force, stationed in North Carolina, but would make regular trips to see his daughter.
And I've been involved with this case from the beginning, okay? And I've seen everything that we have. I've seen all the interviews. And at this point, I know we come in and we talk to you over and over and over again. We've talked to you in Raleigh, we've talked to you here. And we've always talked about the past. What happened that night, what happened that night, what happened that night. But what I want to do is I want to kind of talk to you about the future, where we're going from here, okay? Now, you've already heard about all the stuff that we got. I mean, there's no question about what happened that night.
On April 26, 2016, Stephen drove from his home in North Carolina to Florida, and he rented a hotel room so he could visit his daughter. Trisha would drop Faith off to Stephen that night, then leave and go home. The following day, she was supposed to pick up her daughter and go to work, but she never arrived.
We know that it's more than you tell us. We know that you were involved with her death. We know that, okay? So the question is not what happened or anything like that. What we need to understand is going forward, okay, there's going to be a trial, okay? There's going to be press. There's going to be everybody looking at this. You've seen how these things, they get huge. The media gets involved, and everybody's going to have an opinion about what happened. And everybody's going to have an opinion about you and your relationship and what kind of person you are, okay? And the thing that we're trying to do is, I mean, I talked to you earlier, you're a nice guy. I like you. I mean, I think we could be friends, in different circumstances. But here's the thing. There are going to be two narratives going forward, okay? And what I want to do is try to give you the opportunity to kind of tell me more about what narrative actually happened.
Trisha's family would go to her home to see if perhaps she had overslept or an accident had occurred. The first thing they noticed was that her car was not in its usual place. Instead, it was parked across the street. Inside the car, they would find her purse, and inside her home, lights were left on and groceries were left out on the kitchen counter. Trisha was reported missing, and the police began their investigation.
Okay. So, what we're looking at is, there's the one option, okay? And that's the option that you were kind of getting from earlier when Tom was in here, which is, you planned this? You came down here with the intent purpose to hurt Trisha? That you planned to ditch her car here in some calculated way, and you planned to go put her in a certain place that nobody could find her and all that kind of stuff? And that sounds pretty bad, right? I mean, you wouldn't agree with that, okay? Now, the other alternative is that, and like I said, we know what happened. We know that, that something beyond what you were telling us happened in the house. But I think the more likely story is having seen, I mean, trust me, I've been here, you haven't seen me before involved in this, but I've seen you, okay? I've done a lot of research on your background, and I know what it was like with Trisha. I know what kind of stuff you went through. I know she had a wild streak when she was younger. I know what she did. If she came after you, in that domestic thing that happened before, I know how that started, okay? We've seen the reports. We know how it all happened. We know she went back and said, no, the whole thing was made up because she started it, okay? What I think is to me, having known you, having known the background of everything between you and her, everybody's going to have their own opinion. But I can see that I think probably what happened was something more like she started something that night.
Stephen claimed that Trisha had dropped off Faith to him, but then left and never returned the next morning. He said that perhaps his ex-wife was going for a walk because she wanted to connect with God. Stephen said that she would do this often, and she would always be alone. The police looked into this possibility and discovered that she did in fact go for long walks on the beach alone, and after searching the area and questioning some people who spent a lot of time at the beach, they came up empty-handed.
Okay. And, having known what her background was, having known how she treats you, okay, I've seen text messages, I've seen what she says to you, okay, I know what kind of stuff she's always bitching you about stuff, I get that, I see that, okay, so I could see how that would kind of go that direction that night, all right, so what I want to do is try to set the stage so that you can actually tell the narrative about what actually happened, which is not that you planned all this, okay? Not that you planned down here to come down here and kill her and send her out in the woods like some sort of mass murderer. I mean, really? I mean, that seems kind of ridiculous, okay? It seems far-fetched, like you said, okay? And I don't think you planned all this. I don't think you're capable of that, okay? I think what happens is sometimes things just get out of hand.
With nothing else to go on, the police began looking into Trisha's personal belongings, like her diary and her cell phone. The diary held information that even her own family did not know. It revealed that Stephen wasn't the person everyone thought he was, and that the divorce was not as friendly as they wanted everyone to think it was. Stephen was abusive, both physically and mentally. The diary told a story of a man who would become extremely angry and violent. Stephen would take out his aggression not only on his wife, but also on her 2 little dogs.
Okay, you agree with that? Sometimes, people start doing something and they cause something to happen, okay? And I'm not saying you wanted this to happen, all right? But I know you were there when it happened, okay? What we want to understand is what actually happened that night, okay? And I know you were there, and I don't believe it was your fault, okay? So what I imagine something to be, is maybe you guys got in an argument. Maybe it was over the computer, maybe it was over the gas, maybe it was over whatever, okay? Any little nitpicky thing that she's going to get on you about, which she always did. I get that, okay? And things got heated, okay? You're down here to try to see your daughter, okay? You're a good dad. You're trying to be down here to spend time with somebody that you care about, your daughter. And Trisha's here again, and unfortunately, Faith wants to see Trisha, and Faith is calling for Trisha. I'm sure that doesn't make you feel like good. She's trying to spend time with your daughter, okay? But it's, and Trisha came over, but then things started getting kind of ugly, okay? And I'm sure she started it. And you didn't want to get involved in that, okay? But if she starts pushing things, she's not going to back up. She's unrelenting. Okay, I've seen this. Okay, I've seen the history. I've seen the background of how this works. Okay, so
the police checked surveillance cameras between Trisha's home and the hotel Stephen had been staying at. That's when they saw footage of Stephen driving both his car and Trisha's car on that same night. More footage would place Stephen near Trisha's home as well. The police would finally have enough evidence to arrest him and bring him in for questioning.
What I could see happening is that maybe she came at you and, just defending yourself, she falls. Maybe you didn't realize how hard you pushed her out of the way, but you're just trying to defend yourself. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that you tried to hurt her. But I'm saying that it's clear that something happened there, and that resulted in Trisha getting injured to the point where she was deceased. Okay? And then beyond that, I can see, putting myself in your shoes for a minute. Okay? I see that you're a hard worker. Okay? You've rose to the ranks. You're in the Air Force. You've been there, 11, 12 years, you said? That's a long time. That's a career. You devoted your life to that career, to this country. Okay? You got your daughter to think about. Okay? Something happened. It's Trisha's own fault. Now she's gone. There's nothing you can do about that.
At first, Stephen denied knowing anything about what happened to Trisha, but eventually admitted to finding Trisha dead, and because he was scared, he disposed of the body. The detective now knows that Trisha is dead, and that Stephen had, at one point, handled the body, but they need him to confess to the crime.
And so your first plan, you told us that your plan was that you were just going to take her back to the house, and you were going to leave her there, which I understand. Because she's going to be back by her house, and people are going to find her, and, then maybe they'll look other places, you know what I mean? And I understand that, okay? And that's what you told us. That was kind of your first thought. So now we're going to go back to the house, okay? And of course, Trisha, being the way she is, there's no gas in the car. Typical Trisha. And I get it. I mean, come on. I mean, how hard is it to go fill up a gas tank? I mean, really? It's not that hard. It's not that hard. You gotta think ahead about this type of stuff. I never let my gas tank go below a quarter of a tank. That's me. But I pay attention to that stuff. My wife should run that gas tank out all the time. And then next thing you know, I gotta go out in the middle of the night because I gotta run and get groceries or something. I'm also getting gas because she didn't think ahead about it. Okay? Slightly. And the only thing that I can do at this point, and like I said, I think you're a good guy. I've talked to you. You're a nice guy. Okay? I don't think that you were a cold-blooded killer who came down here with the explicit intention to murder her. Okay? I don't think that's the case. Okay? But right now, I can't say otherwise. I can't say that there was an accident because you're not telling us something other than that. Okay? We have all this evidence.
The detective is explaining to Stephen that they have all the evidence they will ever need, but they want to give him a chance to explain what happened so he does not look like a monster. It's a great tactic that interrogators will use, and the goal is to make the suspect believe that they have enough evidence to send them away forever, and the best thing they can do for themselves is to be honest and show remorse.
You do. You do. Okay? And I know that you were in the house. Like I said, I can prove that I didn't do anything to her. And you're not hearing me. Okay? You're not hearing me. Okay? I'm not saying that you did anything to her on purpose. I'm not saying that you hurt her. I'm not saying that you laid hands on her. Okay? But I do know that you know what happened to her. A jury could completely understand this. I did. I didn't know what to do. I don't plan to. So explain to me I don't know what you do in these things. And I know you didn't plan this. And that's exactly what I'm saying. That's why I'm trying to give you the opportunity to explain to us how it happened, because it was not planned. You did not attack her. You did not try to kill her or try to come down here to kill her. Never. But things happen. And we need to understand what it was that happened in that house. You're not a serial killer, that you're some psychopath who has no remorse over killing the mother of your child. But you know that's what's going to be in the paper. You know that's what's going to change that. You can. You can change that. You can change that right now. Yes, you can. Yes, you can't tell you anything other than what I've told you. No, you can tell me the truth. And that's the problem. And nothing makes it better. Nothing I say makes it better. It will. And because it matters. Because there's a huge difference between we got an argument, it got physical, she started it, she got hurt. And that's any better. That's no better. No, tell me. The same scenario. That is miles better.
The detective continues talking without taking a break for almost 30 minutes as he explains the situation to Stephen. The detective does not want to give Stephen any time to think up another lie or another scenario, and the best way for him to do this is to keep Stephen focusing on what he is saying. This makes it very difficult for Stephen to listen to the detective and, at the same time, think about a solution to his problem.
Tell us what actually happened in the house. And if I sit here and tell you that she attacked me, that's just another different story that you're just going to be like, well, that's 5 different stories he's telling now. And that doesn't help either. So what do you want me to tell you? What do you want me to tell you? I want you to tell me the truth. I'm telling you, I didn't hurt this woman. Okay, never did anything to injure her or hurt her. My only mistake is I didn't just accept that this is the situation and call 911. That's what I should have done. Did she take her to the hospital? I should have just did that. Instead, I just panicked and I just tried to get away from it all. I just wanted nothing to do with all that. But you panicked, not me. I just panicked. You panicked because of what happened, because you thought it would come back on you. Because it did. It does. Like, in the past even. I didn't do anything to her, but because of how it looked. Here's the stuff. People fall down all the time. People get hurt. Okay? It's not uncommon. Okay? And we can find that out. That's not something that's difficult to determine. Okay? There's people that go to a lot of school and they get paid a lot of money to figure out exactly what happened to somebody. Okay? And I know you don't believe that, and I know you were panicking. I get that. I know that what you're telling us about coming back to the gas station, I know that's a lie. I know that's a lie. And I can prove that's a lie. And I don't want that to be the last lie that you tell us. I need you to tell us
can't tell
the
you
truth.
anything else because I don't know anything else to tell you.
You do. And I know you do.
It's another story, and no matter what I tell you, it's not going to be the truth according to you. So what do you want me to tell you?
Here's the thing about the stories, okay? Every time you tell us some version of what happened, it gets closer to the truth. And I appreciate that, because
So then I say, oh yeah, she attacked me, and you come back in, you're like, okay, so you attacked her. Like, no, that's not what I said. So then you're just going to have me going down this rabbit hole of different stories now. I don't want that either.
like I told you, okay, I can prove one thing, okay? I can prove that you were at the house with Trisha when she was injured. I can prove that. So the question lies with you as to, you're the only one who was there with her. Like I said, you're the only person who can tell us what happened. So this is your opportunity to tell us what happened in the house before you left.
The detective is using a very basic tactic as he tells Stephen that he does not believe he committed the crime on purpose, and that he believes it was an accident. This gives Stephen the option to confess to the crime by creating a scenario where Trisha lost her life by accident, and when this happened, Stephen panicked because he feared the police would think that he committed the crime. This fear would cause him to hide the body. The goal is to get Stephen to believe that he will receive a lesser punishment because it was an accident, so in exchange, he will confess to the crime.
But if you stick with that story and I can prove that it's a lie, everyone's going to assume the worst.
They assume the worst. If I sit here and say, yeah, we argued, she attacked me, then they're just going to assume, okay, you being the bigger, stronger person, you hit her, or you did something to her, or you in some way hurt her, and that I never, ever would do that.
I'm not asking you to make up a story.
Murder bag. I didn't come down there with some devious plan scheme. I didn't.
Exactly.
I'm not that kind of person.
And that's what I'm saying, is that you're not that type of person. But by continuing to lie to us about what happened and when it happened, you're opening that door for everyone to assume it, and you know everyone's going to assume it. But I can prove that's not true. That's not how I want to end this report, because everybody wants to know what happened to Trisha. If Trisha had an accident, if Trisha came at you when she fell,
She clearly had an accident. I didn't do anything to her. I'm telling you I didn't do it.
So what
I
happened?
never hurt her. I didn't push her. I didn't shove her. I didn't do anything to that woman.
So what happened?
I didn't do anything.
I'm not saying you did anything. I'm asking, that's not the question I'm asking. The question is, what happened? Because, like I said, I know you were in the house when it happened. I know you were there. I can prove that you were there. And if you don't tell me the truth about what happened now, you're going to don't worry about the media. Don't worry about what your friends and family do. Don't worry about all this stuff.
Really not.
You're going to have a jury.
That's my deciding your fate. I feel like no matter what I tell you, it's not going to make a difference with them.
It's going to make a huge difference.
I tell you another story of we had an argument and fought, then they're going to be like, well, what happened to the other 2-3 stories he told? Why wasn't this the story?
Because you were scared. I understand you're scared.
I was scared then. I'm scared now.
You've been scared throughout this entire thing. Your actions look like somebody who's planned this and look like somebody who came down here to murder you. But I can see they're actually the actions of someone who was scared. But you need to explain to them that you didn't just come home and you saw that she fell down and you got scared. That doesn't make sense to a jury. They're not going to buy this. They're not going to believe you. And they're not going to buy anything. They're going to believe the truth. They're going to believe the truth. All of it from the get-go was just unbelievable. All of it from the get-go was one of those, like, I'm living a nightmare. I'm living some shitty Lifetime movie special is what I'm living. And it's bullshit. Because I would never hurt that woman. I would never... So tell us what actually happened in the house.
The detective uses one last strategy by telling Stephen that he is a good guy and that his ex-wife can be a lot to handle. He tries sympathizing with Stephen to make him feel like what he did was provoked by Trisha and that the jury will understand the situation. At this point, Stephen wants to confess, but he fears the consequences. He tells the detective that if he tells him another story, nobody will believe it because it would be the 3rd time he changes his story. Stephen is fishing for an answer from the detective that would make him feel far more comfortable to confessing. The detective is smart and tells him that people would believe him because he was scared, which is why he lied. Stephen is very close to confessing. He just needs one little push in the right direction.
She was trying you. You wanted to talk to your daughter. You wanted to be there for you, because you don't want to just abandon your child.
No.
You don't want her to not have a father.
You're doing a good job as best as I could. Because of the military and for living in Florida, I can't always be there, but yeah, I was trying to be there as much as I can.
And that's why that night, you gave in and you said yes. I know, I have a daughter. Daughters always get what they want, no matter what. They always get what they want, no matter if you don't want it or not. She wanted mommy, she's getting mommy, even though you didn't want that. So, I know that your plan was not, how ridiculous is that? You planned to have a sick child? You planned to have your child call for the mother in the middle of the night?
Planned to take a stupid trip to the
But people are going to believe that if you let them. They're going to
How do you plan that? How do you
so,
plan for your child to be sick in the middle of the night?
So I know you think that the truth is going to sound worse, but you know it's not. You know it's not going to sound worse. You know it can't be worse than this narrative that people are creating about you. That people are already saying
everything else already. I've already told too many different freaking versions.
You told versions because you panicked. You were scared. People can understand that. People can understand that. But at a certain point, you have to realize, because you're afraid that you're going to get prison for caught, you're going to get blamed, you're going to get in trouble. But I can tell you right now, we're there. We're there.
My life.
Okay? You're here with us. Not because of what happened. And we need to understand the truth about what happened. Because I know you're scared. I know you're scared about what's going to happen in the future. But before you were panicking because you didn't want anybody to know you were involved. You didn't want anybody to know you were there. You wanted it to go away. That is a normal human response. That's what anybody would do in that situation. That you're panicking. You're panicking. It's a reasonable thought process that people can understand. But what we can't get past is you continuing to lie about what happened. And I can't let you continue to lie about what happened. I need you to tell me the truth about what happened. I know you were there. I want to give you the opportunity to tell me what happened.
The interrogator's strategy finally works, and Stephen is ready to confess. For the first time since he sat down, the detective stops talking and listens as Stephen shares yet another story with him. He describes the events that took place the night of the crime.
So yeah, she came over and she was with Faith, and then she just started talking about nonsense and bringing up child support and just more stupid stuff that I just, for the most part, tried to ignore. And then, yeah, there was a mix-up with the check, but that's not my fault because you told me this was your address. So yeah, that's where I mailed it to. And then she's telling me that's not the mailing address. I'm like, that's not my fault. If you told me you moved, I did the responsible thing, and I made sure the check was going to go wherever you moved to if you're not at your mom's house. And then she's just going on and on about now I owe her more money and back child support. And I'm just sitting here like, dude, I'll fix it. I'll send you another. I'll do something, but I don't have the money now. So just give me some time, because that money, since you didn't get it on time, is already spent. I spent it to come here, and now I need a little more time to get it to you. And now she's talking about how she's going to go to court and all this other stuff, and it's my fault. And I'm just like, this isn't even my fault. You told me you moved, so I adjusted it. Just calm down. This isn't even that serious. This is an easily rectifiable, why are you getting all out of hand about this,
Right.
And yeah, I know I didn't go through the court to pay child support, but every time I tried, it was she just stonewalled me. I don't want to do that because I have paid money to send you money, which is stupid. I was like, just let me have your account information, just the account number, and I will direct deposit, and this will never happen. And no, that's not going to work, and we can't do that. You owe me all this money, and then she's going to go to court and make me pay you all the other money from the divorce that I already took over $20-something thousand in debt that I have to pay back in 18 months. And if I don't pay all that back, I got another $6,000 I got to pay as far as back child support. And now she's trying to say I'm going to have to pay all that back. And then she just gets on my face about it. And I'm like, what? Why are you so mad right now? Is it because I called you this way? It just completely got out of hand. And then just the whole pointing and it just all went bad. It just so fast. She just went from 0 to 100, and I'm trying to understand, like, what just happened? Like, you were just here earlier. Everything was fine. You left. I only called you because Faith wanted you, and now we're arguing about something that I'm sitting here thinking this is unbelievably trivial, and this can be fixed. I can fix this by the 1st. Just give me time, and I'll make sure you get the money, or I'll make it in 2 separate payments, or whatever you need me to do, and it's just not good. It's not going to work. None of this works. So then, we leave Faith on the couch. And she eventually falls asleep anyway, but she's still, like, arguing with me over in the foyer area. And I'm just like, please just leave and just go. No, I'm not leaving till we fix this. Like, just get out. Like, I don't know what you want from me, Trisha. I don't have any money for you. I don't have any cash for you. I can't give you anything right now. I spent the little money I had, which is why I drove here just to see Faith. That's why I didn't fly. I didn't get a rental car like I normally do. I'm not in a hotel. Well, I didn't want to do the hotel thing, but I don't have money. Like, I just paid so much money to the debt that I don't have any more money, okay? I just don't. I am, like, pretty much strapped when it comes to cash. Living paycheck to paycheck, and even then, I'm not making it right now. And it doesn't matter. You owe me money. You need to pay your debts. This is always your fault. You're always spending more money, and it's just on and on to the point where now I'm just trying to, like, walk away. Now I can't walk away because you're circling me and, like, you're jumping in front of my face, and it just got so aggressive, and I'm just trying to back away and de-escalate, and I can't even leave the house now. I don't want to push you. I don't want to touch you. I don't want anything with you because I'm just thinking about flashbacks of before when you just blew all this shit up for no reason, and then now I'm getting arrested. But only after the fact did you go and, say that it wasn't my fault. No one else knows that now. And only after the fact that I got arrested. All I'm thinking, just flashbacks. I go to push her away, and then she gets really pissed about that. And then she gets even more aggressive and in my face and pushing me back. And I'm like, would you please just stop? Like, I don't want this. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why you're so mad. I don't know if you took a freaking crazy pill on the way over here, and that really pissed her off. And it just escalated. And then I just moved her away, and then she slipped. And that's when she freaking fell. And I'm like, oh shit. I asked her if she was okay. It was like a weird sound. She didn't say anything, though. And then I freaking panicked. And then I just freaking panicked. Because I didn't try to hurt you. I just wanted you to stop being here in my face yelling at me as I'm trying to back away. I'm trying to de-escalate. I don't want, whatever this is, it's not this serious. I don't know why it's so serious about this money. It's always been so, like, even during the divorce, every penny has just been so serious about her trying to get every dollar.
Right.
And I'm like, and now I made a mistake, and I sent the check to the wrong address because I didn't know that wasn't a mailing address. And I can't explain where it is. I didn't even get it back in the mail until a week after that. And it just went so fast. And then I pushed her, and I didn't push. I was just trying to get her away. Just please stop yelling in my face. It's like, just, like, if she was at that distance, fine, but she wasn't. She's just
right
here the whole time. And I'm like, please, just stop. And so I went to move her away, and she slipped, and she hit her head. And I didn't mean for that. That wasn't my freaking fault. I wasn't. And then all I'm thinking is, great, now I've pushed her, and she's hurt her head, and I'm done. I'm just, everything I've tried to do, everything I've tried to be is done because I made a mistake. I didn't really even lose my cool. I just tried to move you away. I just did.
Sorry.
Stephen cries fake tears as he explains that on the night of the crime, Trisha was confronting him about some past due child support payments. Stephen claims that he did not want to argue with her, so he pushed her out of the way so he could leave. This push would cause her to fall and ultimately would end her life. This is a huge step because they now have his confession, but they still need to figure out if it was really an accident or not, and the best way to do this is to find the body.
I'm just trying to de-escalate the situation. I couldn't get out. I didn't know where to go. I didn't even just leave. Like, all I wanted to do was just leave. I just wanted nothing to do with that.
Do you know what she hit her head on? Was it the floor or?
I don't know. She just fell, and then she wasn't responsive after that. And I didn't know. You know, I thought, if I call the police now, she was freaking pushed her, and I'm going to check.
So what did you do next?
I just tried to wake her. I tried to snap her out of it, and it just kept getting worse. She just wasn't responding. She made weird breathing sounds, and I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm going to jail. I don't want to jail for killing women. I never wanted to hurt. Never.
And I don't think you did.
I never wanted her to be hurt. I never wished ill on her. I tried to always do right by her, no matter what the situation. I just tried to. Well, it is. I'm going to jail for trying not to hurt you.
And that's exactly why I wanted you to tell me.
I just wanted to stop. I wanted to struggle for me. I just wanted to just go back.
Okay. And that, I believe you. I believe everything that you just told me. Okay, Stephen? It does. It makes a huge difference, because that's what we need to do. We need to get to the truth about what happened. Now you know the next question I'm going to ask you. Okay? And I know you don't want to, but we need to know where Trisha is.
I don't know, and I really don't have a freaking clue where that was. I just drove. And I went through a million and one scenarios in my head of what to do, and none of them were good. All of them just ended bad. I didn't pay attention to anything. I just drove, and as I drove, I didn't read any signs. I just drove, and I just tried to think of how to fix it. I couldn't fix it. It was just bad all around, and I'm just like, no matter what, I'm screwed. Like, I am screwed no matter what. I can't go back. I can't go to the hospital now. If I do, how does that look? I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm just freaking out because I don't want any of this. I didn't want anything to do with any of that.
I get it. I understand.
Stephen claims that he has no idea where he left the body. As he is questioned, he does his best not to give any straight answers, because he knows that if they find the body, he will spend the rest of his life in jail. Stephen continues to try and make himself look good, and even tells the detectives that Trisha looked calm and peaceful as he left her body in the woods.
Here's what I need. We have so many people are looking for her and want to know where she is. Okay. Will you continue to work with us to try to figure out where she is? You will?
No.
I know you don't think you know. But I need you to give us an honest effort to try to remember.
It was dark.
So you drove for a while.
It was just dark.
Was it like a really long one? Let me just talk through this a little bit, okay? So you drove for a while you were thinking. Did you turn anywhere?
And I just took her out, and she just looked peaceful and sweet, like what I remember her. You know, the way I would like to remember her. When I ever talk bad about her, I'd feel that. Not like love, but I care about her.
You had a life with this person.
I was married 11 years to her. Of course I still care.
But you created a life with this person. You're always going to have some peace together. I get that. No matter what else happens, the money and all that other stuff. And that's why we need to.
She just looked peaceful.
We need to do everything that we can to bring her home now. I know what happened. I know, and that's done. It's in the past, and that's what I want. And I told you in the beginning, I want to talk about the future with you. We're done talking about the past. We know what happened in the past. We need to get beyond that.
I don't even know where I left her.
Did you?
I didn't even try to cover her up. I just laid her down.
So
I was hoping beyond belief that she would be okay.
You knew she was peaceful. You knew she was at peace at that time. I mean, I know you were hoping. I know you were hoping, but you knew. You knew that it was not the case. And it's horrible and it's unfortunate, but like you said, and that's just what happened. And bad things happen. But
The truth would eventually come out, and it showed everyone that Stephen was a cold-blooded monster. The crime had been planned well in advance. Stephen had purchased a chainsaw and some acid. He had already picked out a spot and dug a hole in the ground. On April 26th, he spent the entire day building up enough courage to take Trisha's life. After Trisha dropped off Faith to him at the hotel, he called and asked her to come back. When she arrived, Stephen knocked her unconscious. Trisha awoke to find Stephen going through her emails, trying to send everyone on her contact list an email stating that she was leaving. Trisha began to scream at Stephen, so he would knock her out again, but this time, the blow would take her life. He put Trisha in her car, but the car would have no gas, so Stephen would have to find some, which would lead him to being on multiple surveillance cameras. After getting gas, he drove to the spot where the hole was already dug, and he used a chainsaw to make sure the body would fit into the acid. He would then cover it up and leave.
The truth, because the truth is what? That you didn't mean for this to happen, but it did. And that are you sorry that it happened?
Of course
Of
I
course
am.
you are.
Holy crap, I wish I could have found another way to de-escalate it, but she just wouldn't let it go. She just kept pushing the issue about money, and
And I know
all the thing is, I don't have any money anyway. Like, just wait till the first, I'll fix it, I don't know why it's such a big deal by now. It didn't even make sense.
And this is going to be a lot of weight, and has been a lot of weight. I mean, you carried a lot of this for so long now, for weeks, and that's more than anybody can really take. And I can tell you that getting this off your chest and writing an apology to these people saying you're sorry that it happened this way, that you did not mean for it to happen this way, and although it did happen, that you're truly sorry, I think that's going to help lift a lot of weight. Is that something that you'd like to do?
I don't feel like a sorry. It means anything to anybody.
You'd be surprised.
Sorry.
You'd be surprised. People want to know that.
In exchange for a 35-year sentence, Stephen led them to the location of Trisha's body. 35 years is far too lenient for this type of crime. A man who can take a life like this and show no remorse will have no problem taking another life. The court wanted to please the family by giving Trisha back to them, but in exchange, a cold-blooded killer will be back on the streets in the year 2050. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please think about subscribing. It's free, and it really helps us out. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time here on the Red Tree Crime YouTube channel.